Clear Eyes, Full Hearts is an episode-by-episode inside look at the hit TV show Friday Night Lights. I'm Stacey Oristano, a.k.a. Mindy Collette Riggins.
And I'm Derek Phillips, a.k.a. Billy Riggins.
Join us each week as we rewatch every episode of Friday Night Lights.
We'll answer fan questions.
And we'll chat with some of your favorite cast members.
Clear Eyes, Full Hearts is a podcast presentation of Cadence 13 in association with Black Barrel Media and Ritual Productions. Listen now for free on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, there are a lot of podcasts out there.
Definitely. I mean, there's 3 million shows, 50 million episodes, and more every day.
I mean, who has the time to figure out which ones are the best podcasts?
We do. That's who. What's up, guys? I am Alicia Renee.
And I'm Dax Holt.
And we are your hosts of Pod Sauce, a podcast discovery show.
Look at us as your podcast concierge.
We do all the work for you. We listen to the shows, review them,
pick the best episodes, and interview the hosts.
Pod Sauce. Let us help you find your next binge. Tell them where to go, Dax.
Go to podsauce.com.
And we welcome in our guy, Ed Bouchette from The Athletic on that fan hotline, presented by Nemacolin. Around every corner, Nemacolin creates real-life magic for guests. Hello, Ed. Happy Monday to you.
And to you, Colin and Chris.
Good morning, Ed.
All Souls Day today, All Saints Day, one of the two.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yep, it's a holy day of obligation, I believe.
Yeah.
Ed, listen to this. I tweeted this out earlier, and I think it says something, particularly in the evolution of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the past decade or so. 7 of the Steelers' 9 draft picks from this most recent draft played yesterday. Harris, Freiermuth, Green, Moore, Loudermilk, Norwood, and Harvin III. And you can make a strong case each had a valuable role. That's something, particularly because it wasn't too long ago that Steelers rookies, especially on defense, didn't really see the field. These young guys are something right now, Ed.
Yeah, and I had to kind of remind everybody, years ago, those rookies on defense didn't get to play because they had such great players already on defense. You know, they had to wait their turn. All of them, Troy Polamalu included. You know, he didn't start a game his rookie year. But, yeah, this is they're rebuilding without using the R word is what they're doing. And people aren't really taking notice because the quarterback's the same.
Ed, is this the best season of Cam Hayward's career so far?
Oh, he's had some good ones. I mean, it's hard to say, Chris. He's just continues to play at a top level, Aaron Donald-like, Aaron gets to play in a 4-man line. And I think Cam could even be more effective in that kind of line as a tackle. But, yeah, he's been phenomenal.
Time right now, 7:05. Brought to you by Weather Seal. Get a brand new Weather Seal roofing system for just $1 down at Weather Seal Home Services. If you're Myles Garrett, you look across the ball and you see Dan Moore Jr., who didn't get a ton of help from a fullback or really anybody yesterday all that much. Are you disappointed if you wake up this morning and you're Myles Garrett and you didn't take over that football game? And if you're Dan Moore Jr., you have to see it as a W and a win to neutralize Myles Garrett, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Myles was active at a number of times. He maybe didn't get the sacks, but he was putting pressure on the quarterback. And, Ben this is no news break, Ben gets rid of the ball quickly, and that helps. So, I'm not ready to say Myles didn't play well yesterday. I just because he's playing against a rookie.
Ed, it looked to us, or at least it looked to me, like they were committed to funneling the offense through Najee Harris, even if he didn't have anything better than an 11-yard carry on the ground. They were going to stay committed to the run game, whereas the Browns, after that first drive, I don't want to say they gave up on Nick Chubb, but they certainly got away from him as compared to what I expected them to do. Do we give Matt Canada credit for that, and do we fault Kevin Stefanski for that?
Well, we have a saying from a long time ago. It started with Bob Labriola, and we say they have coaches too, and it's a knock on a coach when we say that. The Browns played right into their hands. I mean, the Browns had the best rushing game in the league. The Steelers have not been stout against the run. They lost 2/3 of their defensive line. The inside linebackers have been soft against the run, and the Browns abandoned the run in a close game. I mean, if they had to play catch up, you could understand it. But yeah, I think I said all along, I thought they would have been better off with Casey Keenum at quarterback instead of Baker Mayfield. Not that Mayfield played badly yesterday, but that they would have run the ball more with Keenum. which is what they do. And that was the way to win this game. And yeah, Matt Canada did a nice job. But so did the offensive line, and so did Najee Harris. I mean, Harris may have only had a long of 11, but I'll tell you, that touchdown run was worth everything.
Absolutely it was. Okay, all right. The elephant in the room, the fake field goal that we have to talk about, that a lot of people will talk about and should talk about. The discussion isn't a deep one for me. I just think even the thought of it is boneheaded, Ed.
Well, I agree with you, Colin, in that instance. It was going to be a close game. Take the points. Ron Cook, when we're in the press box together, he always asked me this question on situations like that. What would Chuck do? And Chuck would have taken the points, Noel. And that's what you have to do there. Now, in 2018, they did the same thing, and he completed a pass to Villanueva for a touchdown against Denver.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody was celebrating the play then because it worked, right? But the situation this time called for just take the points, get off the field. They talk, excuse me, I have a cold that's lingering. Mike Tomlin talks about being in the lab, got to go back in the lab. Well, stay out of that portion of the lab, okay? Just kick the point. Just let him do what he does best, kick.
Steelers insider Ed Bouchette with us every Monday morning here on the Fan Morning Show.
Well, 2018, they also had Emmanuel Sanders on the football team, and they also had Antonio Brown on the football team, and they also had guys that they were really, really good offensively, too. So it was a different football team. Anyway.
Yeah, and probably back then they should have thrown to those guys. And Ben was 43 years younger.
Right. Wasn't that game that Grimble had a big drop?
Yes.
Yes, or got caught at the goal line. Anyway.
They lost.
It was also a play, Ed, that apparently they've been working on in practice since training camp. And if you get to that point and you're still not confident in that play, then don't run it.
Well, they were confident in it. That's why they ran it. But their confidence was misplaced.
The decision and then to not have it, absolute flawless execution would have been necessary there for that thing to pay off.
Can you imagine if they lost that game if Cleveland would have scored and made it 17-15, the discussion this morning?
No, I can't. We'd be talking about, probably not colleges. But anyway, are we seeing a steady evolution of the Matt Canada offense now with Ben moving around just a little bit more and infusing the tight end a bit? It feels like this offense is starting to find some level of identity, even if it's still murky.
Yeah. They have so many rookies and new players, including a right guard, even though he's a veteran, Turner. I mean, he's new to them, right? So I think it's just an evolution of these guys playing together and figuring out everything. The no huddle, I think, was not so much abandoned. They ran a little bit yesterday as limited because of all the rookies. You can run a no-huddle when you have veteran wide receivers and running backs and linemen out there. I mean, they're all on the same page. It's hard to do with a bunch of new guys. Anyway, yeah, when Ben rolled out to the right on that one pass, it looked like 28-year-old Ben, right?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it looked better than not trying to move him around a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't need to move Ben around him that much. That's not what you do with a 39-year-old quarterback. I don't know how much Tom Brady moves around.
Ed Bouchette brought to you by MetaConnect, bridging the healthcare gap. What happens with Ingram and Ebron? Even if you could get a bag of balls for them, do they both get traded before the deadline tomorrow?
I don't know who would want them. Maybe Ingram would be valuable. I don't know who would want Ebron. First of all, if you trade him, well, I was going to say you trade his contract, but they redid his contract, and he's down to basically minimum wage, so maybe somebody would grab him. I don't know.
Well, does he have a role right now, considering Gentry has shown that he's on the football team and that they're going to use him?
His role has been diminished, and it's he might not even be active when he's healthy. And Ingram, I don't know what the level of discontent is there. If that injury was real, okay, deal with it. If it wasn't real, then you have a problem. And it wouldn't surprise me if they dealt him. And you would save some money and some cap room for next year if you dealt him, because he's a $4 million player and you'd save over $2 million.
Ed, not to get ahead of ourselves, because we are at the point where we totally understand that anything could happen. They could lose to the Lions in 2 weeks. They could lose to the Bears on Monday night, but that I would not.
They ain't going to lose to the Lions.
Well, don't.
They ain't going to lose to the Lions.
They lost to the Dolphins.
Right now,
they lost to the Dolphins a couple years ago.
If the Lions played soccer in Europe, they'd be moving down a notch, league, whatever they call it.
To quote Mike Tomlin, never say never, Ed, but never. Yeah. Anyway, my point was this. They could be 6-3 in a couple of weeks. And
right. They could be 6-3 in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so what's the AFC North look like then with the Steelers at 6-3?
They could be first place.
Is that...
We could be talking about the first place Steelers in 2 weeks.
Is that
at 6-3?
Is that evidence that they're doing things right, or is it just evidence that the AFC North is a cluster?
No, I mean, somebody said, I think it was Ben. Somebody asked him about, do you look at scoreboards? Hey, you don't worry about other teams right now. You just play. You worry about that at the end of the season when you maybe need help or this, that, and the other thing. But it's way too early to worry about standings.
There is a 1,000% chance that Ben Roethlisberger looks at other teams' scoreboards, Ed.
Well, he says things that, maybe he doesn't really believe in sometimes because he has to say them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we all do. Everybody does, certainly.
They all knew. Believe me, they all knew the Bengals lost to the Jets yesterday.
Absolutely. All right, to the important stuff before we let you go. Did you put little Poppy in that costume? How'd that work out?
No, we just put a little scarf on him, a little pumpkin scarf.
There you go.
How did he take to it? Did he try to shake it off the whole time, or was he okay?
No, he was barking at some of the characters that came though. He's not a barker. The Boston Terriers bark when you want them to bark, when there's somebody stranger coming to the door. Well, there were a lot of strangers yesterday, last night.
Yeah.
And he barked at some of the ones he couldn't figure out.
What was popular in your world? What kind of costumes came around? What was good? What'd you see?
Well, I was working, so I didn't see a lot of them. I was writing off the game. It's 6 to 8 here, and I probably 7:30ish. I went out, and there was a couple cute little girls coming up, 5, 6 years old, dressed in outfits. But I can't even tell the modern outfits.
No.
In the old days, you could tell. Well, that's a clown, that's a ghost, that's a witch. Not anymore. They're R2D2 or whatever that is.
Right. Looked like the Browns walking into their locker room yesterday, right? They were all dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah, it was much simpler times. So somebody was a witch, somebody was a scarecrow, somebody was a robot, and a clown. There you go.
I remember the Reagan masks. Go back to the Ronald Reagan masks.
How did you do? How many trick-or-treaters did you get, Ed?
50. Here, I got the count right here. 54.
54. Okay.
Yeah, that's about average here.
About average. Okay. We must have got 200, I bet, Ed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a lot of kids in your neighborhood. See, we're on the edge of an old neighborhood and a new neighborhood. So.
Yeah. Got that.
It's newer neighborhood.
Yeah, it's moving along. But anyway, so that's more candy for Ed for the week.
Yeah.
I don't eat candy.
Well, then it's no candy for
Someone
Ed.
else can have it.
Ed, you're sweet. You're sweet enough. You don't need any more sugar.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Sure. All right, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We appreciate the visit, as always.
All right, we'll see you pregame next Monday, right?
Yeah.
I'm on vacation. I'm going to Florida, Ed. I'm taking the kids to Florida.
Jim and I will be here. Don't worry.
Wear your masks. Wear your masks.
For Halloween and for the flight and all that. All right. Thank you, Ed. We'll see you.
All right. We'll
see you, Ed.
Fellas.
Thank you.
Oh, Ed. He doesn't eat candy? I mean, you got it. Do you find 100% of the people who say that liars? People will, if there's a candy bowl, you'll reach in and grab a little
I believe
piece.
They want to be the people who don't eat candy, but there's nobody that walks by a big bowl of leftover Halloween candy that doesn't grab one of those little... I told you last week, every time I walk by that stupid bowl that's still sitting on the front desk to go out and use the restroom, I grab one piece of candy.
At least
because I'm a big dumb animal, and it's like Pavlov's dogs. I just have to grab one.
Phased out too that I wish they'd bring back a little bit is sixlets. I think sixlets are totally done. I didn't see one sixlet.
No, I didn't see
one
either.
pack of six. I like putting it in the mouth. You just pull it off and get all sixlets right there. Matt, do you see any sixlets out there?
I did not. Now that I think about it,
Morningside with your little nephew, right?
Nephew, yep.
Yeah, and running around.
niece, she was out. I
Right,
guess.
was she out there? Was she dressed up?
Yeah, she was. She was a little bat.
Oh, there we go. I like
little
it.
1-year-old bat.
Does she have to hang upside down in the stroller or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm John Favreau, host of Crooked Media's new weekly series, Offline with John Favreau. If you feel like the internet is breaking our brains, but you still can't put the phone down, this show might help. Each week, I'll be talking to people like Monica Lewinsky, Megan Rapinoe, Peter Hamby, and DeRay McKesson about all the ways our extremely online existence is shaping politics, media, entertainment, sports, business, and more. New episodes of Offline with Jon Favreau drop every Sunday on the Pod Save America feed. Listen on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
From C13 Features, a new kind of listening experience.
He's back!
Help me!
Get out of there.
It's here.
No, don't let them in.
You can experience Treat, a podcast movie starring Kiernan Shipka, for free on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Grab some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Have you cut the cord and are feeling bored with your streaming services? CuriosityStream can help. With thousands of documentary films and TV shows, let CuriosityStream put the science back in your screen time. Astound you with history come to life and wildlife that will reach out and grab you. We've got the fix for your nonfiction addiction. Watch us on any device, anywhere you are. Visit CuriosityStream.com to sign up and start streaming now.